Hello.
Mm-hmm. It's warming here. Oh, that's not a good thing.
Go ahead and start the recording, Z.
Okay, we'd like to call to order the Town of Niskayuna Planning Board and Zoning Commission, January 12th, 2026 meeting. Ms. Bergami, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Laflamme,
Here.
Ms. Strain,
Here.
Mr. Khan,
Here.
Mr. Millspa,
Here.
Ms. Gomes,
Here.
Ms. Goldstein,
Present.
Mr. Bill and Calhoun,
Here.
Chairman Darpino.
Here. Next up is the approval of the December 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Strang. I will second them. Any comments or corrections? Okay, seeing as there's no comments or corrections, all in favor of the December 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes, state by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, December 20,
I'm going to abstain.
okay, and we have one abstention, okay? So the December 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes are approved. Next up is public hearings. We do not have any public hearings scheduled, so we'll move right on to privilege of the floor. Privilege of the floor is open to any resident of Niskayuna wishing to speak about any planning or zoning matter. Please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is George Young. I live at 1241 Ruffner Road. I wanted to make a comment on line item number 6 tonight. The proposed lot line adjustment between 1245 Ruffner Road and 1851 Union Street. There were surveyors at 1245 Ruffner Road a few weeks ago, and my wife spoke with them, and they said the intent of this survey was to subdivide the property to develop it into many different homes. So it seems like a continuation of the previous action by the Mohawk Golf Club to subdivide this 14 acres. I believe that was left with the town board a couple of years ago, pending an environmental review, which I don't believe has happened. And I just wanted to bring that to the board's awareness and state that the neighborhood is quite concerned about this development. We really want to maintain the character of Ruffner Road and Hawthorne Hills. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charles Horowitz. I live at 1223 Ruffner Road. I recognize many of you from the last time when we discussed the golf course's desire to build townhouses, but I see there's also some new members. And I just want to assure all of you that everybody who was opposed to it in the past is still opposed to it. This was, it was a very, there was a lot of conflict over this, and all of the environmental, all of the personal, social aspects of this development worked against the community. And that was, I think, really important, between the additional traffic, between the access and the egress, between what's going to happen to the water. This is a nightmare for the people who live on Ruffner Road. Nothing short of a nightmare. And I think that when it just kind of says, well, a lot line adjustment, we don't believe that that's all it is. We believe that this is just trying to get in baby steps what was not able to be achieved as a total project. And I hope that the zoning board pays attention to that and respects what the community strongly said last time around. Please do not approve this. This would just be the beginning.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Johanna Horowitz. Again, I recognize a lot of you from last time. I will say that about the only good thing about the proposal last time was the way it brought the community together in full force. Virtually everyone in the neighborhood was on board with opposing it. We had signs everywhere. We had pretty good representation here. I've heard this came as somewhat of a surprise, and luckily we had my neighbor noticed that this was on the agenda for today and put the word out, but a lot of people had other plans and they weren't able to be here. But let me assure you, I represent my being here. I'm speaking for a lot of people. I can't help but feel really somewhat deceived because, as I recall, when that sale first took place, the purchaser, Mr. Rutherford, gave interviews to, I believe, the Schenectady Gazette, saying, "Oh, we have no plans to develop this in any way at all. We're going to really make this a golf course." And then, of course, came this project. When Mr. Rutherford withdrew it, he sent out a statement that we all read saying that the community spoke and we listened, he said. So we listening meant that he was going to develop closer to Balltown Road. And we thought actually he did listen, but apparently he didn't. But we're back, and I know that we will all oppose this strongly because, again, same old movie. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else here for privilege of the floor? Okay, Laura, do we have anyone online wishing to speak on privilege of the floor?
I'm not actually sure because we have a lot of people online.
Okay,
Is there anybody online that wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? You can just unmute yourself. I'd say no.
no? Okay, all right. And did you receive any correspondence on
So-
any?
I did receive a correspondence on 1335 Balltown Road.
Okay.
It hasn't come in time for me to forward it to you, but it's a letter, and I will forward it to you following the meeting. I'm just requesting that the dumpster not be at the end of Buxton.
Okay, and that's on the agenda tonight. Okay, last chance for privilege of the floor. Okay, seeing as none, we will close privilege of the floor. Next up is unfinished business. We don't have any, so we'll move on to new business. We are going to take the agenda out of order tonight because we do have an applicant that has agreed to come back to the planning board tonight. So we're going to take number 8 under discussion items, which is 1335 Balltown Road, which is an application for site plan review of a 6x12 garbage dumpster enclosure, and talk about a relocation. And we have a representative from the applicant online.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, John. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Okay, so to bring the board up to speed, since the meeting on December 22nd, when the resolution was passed to put the dumpster enclosure at the end of the Buxton, where the stub road ends, there was some concern from the town members that there may be an emergency egress or potential problematic pass-through that needs to be reevaluated and relooked at. So we reached out to the applicant, and they were completely fine with possibly relocating it back to the original proposed location. So Laura, if you could bring up that site plan quickly.
Rosie.
So back in the late 90s, there was a proposed location which would have been on the west side of the parking lot. That is approximately where the bend is there. There is a Verizon handhold box, which is highlighted in yellow, which we've discussed before, that had talked about not knowing if it was fully active or if it was not. The town will help broker seeing if we can get Verizon or get a technician over there to determine if it is or isn't. But regardless of that, we're thinking that the area just south of that would be an appropriate location to put the dumpster, taking it away from the end of Buxton. Okay, that's a quick summary.
I guess quick, was there actual correspondence from like the fire or police department that said there was an access issue?
Not yet. We're still investigating. There's a lot of files that I would still have to go through to have a definitive answer on that. The fire department's chief's main concern was the distance to the building, but I am still working on it.
Distance to the building in terms of,
Oh, just a minimum setback of the dumpster to the building.
okay.
Hmm.
So I think part of the history of this was that when this was town hall, part of the agreement was to not keep Buxton as a full pass-through road that goes around to the back. They actually tore up part of the road, bermed it there. There's been some plantings that have been there for a couple decades. So Laura's department is going back. I mean, it's a few decades. We've got to go back through some research to go back and take a look at it. So the applicant is open to having another resolution done to relocate the dumpster approximately in the vicinity of the bend of the parking lot, south of where the Verizon handhold box is.
And I think this might be the nature of Mr. Millsap's question. So we passed a resolution on this. What is the structural thing that's causing us to go back and revisit that resolution?
Can you take that one, please, Rob?
Yeah, so there was potentially a safety issue that was raised after the fact. The town may actually have records on it.
Okay.
It may relate to a prior agreement that the town entered into. And so we don't want to violate an agreement that the town made previously. And frankly, we don't want to create a safety issue now that
Okay.
we know about it. So I would put this in the category of an issue that we didn't know about, and now we do. And I fully understand that the board worked hard getting through the last resolution, but the issue to me is I'd like to do it right rather than fast.
No, you answered my question, Mr. Hess. I just actually, to some extent, wanted a clear statement on the record as to, and for safety, absolutely, and missing information, absolutely. So thank you.
And who was that? Could I ask who just spoke? Because I just wanted to know.
Yeah,
This
my
is-
name is Robert Hess. Outside counsel to the town of Niskuna for the planning board.
Thanks.
I mean, the original problem that we were trying to solve here was the landlord needed a larger dumpster,
Mhm.
correct, for the services being provided. The location where the current trash bins were, I think, had received some kind of a complaint from the folks on Alton.
Yeah, it needed to be enclosed, so it's under enforcement from the building department to build a new
Okay.
enclosure.
So one thing that solves this is a resolution, some kind of resolving of the issue with Verizon at
Yeah.
that location at the bend in the parking lot.
Mhm.
The landlord will still have to build an enclosure if
Correct.
this is all favorable.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a path forward here at a better location in the end of Buxton, which I think some of us were not completely, we recognize that with the information we had in front of us the last time, at least I'll speak for myself, that it wasn't the optimal place to place it, but it seemed like it could have been okay.
Mhm.
But we're revisiting that. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Mr.
so
So,
the planning department is still doing some research on some of the information that they had from the previous applications. Once that information is collected, then the planning department will get us information confirming what additional items we need to take a look at, and then we'll have to get a proposed or another resolution in order to approve an amended site plan.
Yeah, and I don't mind continuing to do a deep dive. It does take me a while because it's a heck of a lot of files, but because the applicant is willing to come back and I am happy to work with them on Verizon, I mean, I think it's okay to just move forward with relocating it personally.
Yeah, if I can just add, I have no problem going back. We're now talking about the original location that I came in at. I do think that I'm going to need Laura's help with Verizon because, this was the result. You know how you call that company that comes and looks at gas lines and everything else? So, Safe Dig or whatever it is. So they're the ones that said, oh, I should contact Verizon. And then it was somewhat of a nightmare with Verizon where they're saying that post that has the wires in it, a lot of them have been abandoned. And so then I was like, so you're telling me I can go ahead and dig these posts? And they're like, well, we're not telling you that. So rather than, I know you wanted this resolved, so that's where this came up with the idea of moving it. Now, somebody said just now something like, well, if there are Verizon lines, we're talking about moving it somewhere to the south of the original location. I just want to say that's news to me. So I think if, the board is fine with Laura and Clark and I trying to hash this out, that's fine with me. I have no problem going back to the original location, but it can't be any closer to the playground. That's the only thing I want to get out there, which I believe is north anyway.
And as a clarification on moving it south, that would be probably maybe half the width of that open parking space that's there. It wouldn't be a significant distance from the original area.
All right. Yeah, I just don't want to lose another parking space. And I'm sure we can work this through.
Okay.
But I think you'll have better luck with Verizon. I did I'll talk to Laura about it after the meeting, but I looked for the notes of who I spoke with. But
Okay, yeah, I got a good contact from our engineering department from when Verizon was putting in the FiOS. So I reached out to that gentleman, but he's moving on from Verizon, so he gave me the name of a new person to help and left a message with them today. So I do think it'll help with the town asking for the location. I'll ask for a meeting so we can all work it out together. But I think that the town should be able to help you with that, no problem.
that'd be great. I would just request that if there's a meeting that it be at the site if possible.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know what I mean?
Yeah, so we can all figure it out together.
Yep.
I'm going to note that Verizon is still installing FiOS. I was supposed to have had it by like October of 25. I'm still waiting.
Mhm.
But I know residents along Balltown are expecting it to be installed. So I'm wondering if that's part of the issue of abandoning what's already there.
Yeah, I'll ask him about it. Like I said, the guy that we had originally worked with is moving on, but he did give me the name of the new lady for our territory. So
And I'm not sure if they're delivering FiOS the way they had been or if it's a little different now.
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think these are probably FiOS lines anyway, but I'm happy to continue to work with them.
But I think their intent is to move everybody over.
Yeah, I'm not the FiOS expert. That's just my way into Verizon.
Yeah, I don't think it's FiOS at this. I think a lot of them are old telecommunication lines, but
And most people want to move to FiOS.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, the only other question was clarity on would the dumpster, the new location, be off the tarmac, not taking up any of the spaces that are outlined in the diagram? Yes, right. It would be off the tarmac.
Yeah, off.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you've got to be able to move that roll off out. So if it's not the original location that I came to you with, we're just going to have to, that's why I think that Verizon meeting is critical to know exactly where those, Verizon lines are.
Sure.
And we would still have the same cedar fencing. And would you keep the same landscaping around it, John? Or do you think?
No, I mean, I don't really see the need if you look at originally I was, because of the berm and because of the, you know, the more residential, you know, end of Buxton there, and because there was some landscaping, I was gonna do that. If you guys decide you want something, but if you remember when I very first came in, I wasn't really doing any shrubs around it, but I'm probably willing to do what you want, but nothing as elaborate as what I was proposing over by Buxton. I was trying to, in essence, provide a buffer from the residential street on Buxton, but I don't see that need in the original location. But I'm open to whatever you want.
We'll get a new plan then.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think it needs nearly as much landscaping because it's sort of surrounded by the tennis court and the trees. But maybe I'll just a little bit to cut down on the height of that fence. So maybe you and I could work on just like, I mean, before it was like, I don't know, 15, 20 plants. Like maybe we could just do a little, like 4 or 5 of them around the enclosure.
Yeah, that would be, sure. You know, but again, we want, yep, I'm sure we'll be able to figure it out.
All right, great. So the planning department will continue to gather some additional information, and then if we're able to get to that point, we will possibly call for a tentative resolution at the next meeting.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, first up under new business is Resolution 2026-1, a resolution for a lot line adjustment requiring area variances for 398, 360 Anthony Street. Mr. Khan is the project lead. Now therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Planning Board and Zoning Commission does hereby grant final lot line adjustment approval for 398 and 360 Anthony Street as shown on the aforementioned one-page survey drawing with the following conditions. 1. Planning Board approval of this lot line adjustment is contingent on the ZBA granting the area variances exactly as described above. If the ZBA denies the area variances as written, or if the applicant modifies the proposed lot line adjustment in any manner, the applicant must return to the Planning Board for an amended resolution for appeal. For approval. 2. Prior to recording the plat, the final lot line adjustment map and recording documents shall be sent to the Planning Department for their review, with approval by the town attorney. Any changes, additions, or deletions requested shall be addressed to the satisfaction of the Planning Department before printing the Mylars. May I get a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Khan,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Gold. Do we have a representative from the applicant here?
Yes, it's here.
Okay. Do you want to come up? Okay. Hey, just state your name and address for the record.
Robin Gagnon, this address or my address?
Either.
Oh, 398 Anthony Street.
Okay, great. So you were able to hear the resolution and understand the conditions. So a little bit of background for the board. ZBA was unable to take action on this last month, correct? So was this one of them that was?
Well,
No, no,
this
no.
one is new, but
This one's new.
we did
Okay.
get it on the agenda for the 21st.
Okay, yeah, they had a couple they couldn't get to. So
Right.
this one is coming. So in order to keep this moving forward, we feel pretty confident that this is going to go to them and with our recommendations. So we wanted to get that on the docket for tonight. Pending that meeting, if something does arise from that, we will get that information and then possibly see you in the future.
Okay.
Right.
Can I
But-
talk to Mr. Henry, is it? Clark Henry? Is
Mm-hmm.
that it? Or is it Henry Clark? I always get it confused.
Clark Henry.
Henry. And he gave me what I needed to bring into the town, which is the Mylar copies
Mm-hmm.
and the regular copies and all that. The paper copies I don't need until after the zoning board, right?
That's correct.
That's
Correct.
right. I
Yeah.
wanted to confirm that. So I'll get all those from CT Mail and then bring them back in if I get approved, get them all signed, and then bring them over to the town.
Right.
Right.
It's
Okay.
a lot of
Right.
back and forth.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but just to be clear, the main thing is if you are approved by the ZBA, which the reason for this resolution is based on the fact that this is just a formalizing
Mhm.
what happened in 2018,
Yes,
then your only interaction then is with the planning department, right? There's no coming back to this board.
not to this board, right? Because you guys, yes,
Yeah.
Correct.
I got that. I'll just come back and visit. This is
Well,
All
that's okay.
You're always welcome.
right, thank you
Okay,
all.
thank
We
you.
appreciate you visiting, but we know that there's other things that you have to take care of.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion from the board on the lot line adjustment?
Just that it makes a lot of sense.
Agreed. Okay, Ms. Bergami, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Laflamme?
Aye.
Ms. Strain?
Aye.
Mr. Khan?
Aye.
Mr. Millspa?
Aye.
Ms. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Gold?
Aye.
Chairman Darpino?
Aye, resolution passes. All right.
And just ask Laura before we move on, everything's all set with the application at the ZBA, right? There's no hold,
She
yep.
she submitted all her appeals, and sort of due to the family issue, she's on first for the
Good.
zoning board. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay, next up is Resolution 2026-02, resolution for site plan approval of a monument sign at Rivers Ledge located at 2837 Aqueduct Road. Ms. Gold is the project lead. Now there, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll read the resolution and then we'll jump into the discussions. Now therefore, be it hereby resolved that this planning board does hereby grant site plan approval for 3 new monument signs for Phase 1 and Phase 2 of Rivers Ledge Planned Unit Development Project at 2837 Aqueduct Road with the following conditions. 1, any future changes or alterations to this signage package shall require planning board approval. 2, any and all additional signage for the site shall require planning board approval. 3, low-lying landscaping shall be installed on the west curbed island entrance, River Run Drive, that is similar to the east entrance, Ledge Drive, to soften the base of the sign and mitigate the visual impact of the height of the monument sign at this location. 4, temporary signage is not allowed along the entrances to this PUD so that the sight lines and entrances remain clean and clear and the aesthetics of the properties are maintained. May I get a motion?
So move, Chairman.
Okay, moved by Ms. Gold and second by Mr. Laflamme. Okay, open up to discussion.
I am moving the resolution. However, I'm not going to vote for it. I support everything in it except for the lettering at the entrance signs being at a 90-degree angle from our normal. And I just think the purpose of entrance signs is to help people find the place. And I think the trendy but unusual lettering is still more hazardous than a traditional stacked up and down, or across. I agree the across takes up a lot of space, but the angle is a concern to me because I think it's difficult for people, maybe mostly seniors, but also I've read that it's difficult for people with dyslexia. And I really think the need is safety over current aesthetics.
Okay, thank you.
I will say the sign for the new building is lovely. Belisar.
Okay.
And I think the lighting with the new entrance signs is very desirable because that area, it's like a country road. It's curvy. It's very dark. It's so close to the river. It gets very foggy a lot of the time.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gold. All right, anyone else? Okay, seeing as no comments, open discussion. Ms. Bergami, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Laflamme?
Aye.
Ms. Strain?
No.
Mr. Khan?
Aye.
Mr. Millspa?
Aye.
Ms. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Gold?
No.
Chairman Darpino?
Aye, resolution passes. Okay. Next up is Resolution 2026-03, a resolution for site plan approval of a tenant change to Rooted Beauty Hair Society at 1475 Balltown Road. We do not have a project lead, so we'll go right into the resolution. Now therefore be it hereby resolved, this planning board and zoning commission does hereby classify this application as a type 2 action under seeker regulations and no further action is required. Further resolved that the planning board and zoning commission finds the above referenced site plan application meets the requirements of the zoning code and therefore hereby approves this tenant change and signage site plan with the following conditions. 1, landscaping. Prior to issuing the final certificate of occupancy, the applicant shall work with the Niskuna Tree Council to identify and implement landscaping improvements to 1475 Balltown Road that enhance the town center overlay district. May I get a motion?
Moved.
Moved by Ms. Khan, or Mr. Khan, and second by Ms. Gold. Do we have a representative from the applicant here?
Hi, I'm Erin Conlon.
Okay. You had a chance to hear the resolution. There is one condition on that.
Yep.
Are you okay with working with the landlord on potential upgrades to the exterior for landscaping
Yes.
springtime?
Yep.
Okay. That's a pretty common thing that we have in a lot of our tenant changes. If there's a way to enhance or beautify something outside, we do ask the applicant to be involved in that.
Sure.
Other than that, it's a relatively straightforward tenant change, minimal interior reconfiguration, and I think signage will be coming separately, or is,
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my one question just on the language of the resolution. It said signage site plan, but I thought at the last meeting it was just discussed that they would have a separate compliance submittal for signage, and just wanted to make,
Yes.
I guess, that point of clarification.
Yeah. So I put an email out asking for clarification on the sign. So do I have to submit a separate permit for the sign?
so it's not a separate permit. It would be an application that would go to the planning board that would be separate if you're changing the signage, which you are.
Right.
Okay. If the signage is compliant, then it stays right within the planning department. If for any reason it's larger, then we would have you come back here on a separate application just for the signage.
Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
So if the sign was larger than what's permitted, or if you wanted to have multiple signs or anything that isn't on the actual windows itself, then that would trigger a reapplication. It wouldn't affect this tenant change. It would be a separate application just for signage.
That is a typo in the resolution, though.
We should
It
amend it.
should just say tenant change, and we should strike out and signage site plan.
All right. So can I get a motion to amend the resolution by removing the wording and signage site plan under the first further resolved?
Moved.
Moved
Second?
by Mr. Khan, a second by Ms. Gold. All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay. So now we have an amended resolution for 2026-03. Is there any other further discussion?
I have a question about the building permit.
Okay.
So I submitted it the week of, I think it was like December 17th. When should I expect to hear back from that?
So they don't call you unless they have questions on it,
Oh.
or it's ready to be picked up. And they couldn't issue it until they got approval from the planning board. So hopefully you'd hear within the next day or two.
Okay.
But you're certainly even welcome to call and speak with Linda tomorrow and just see where it's at.
Okay.
It may be ready to go already, and they're just waiting on planning board.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. There's no further discussion. Ms. Bergami, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Laflamme,
Aye.
Ms. Strain,
Aye.
Mr. Khan,
Aye.
Mr. Millspa,
Aye.
Ms. Gomes,
Aye.
Ms. Gold,
Aye.
Chairman Darpino.
Aye, resolution passes. Okay. So that concludes new business. We'll move on to discussion items. First up is 2727 Balltown Road. This is an application for approval of a plat plan and minor subdivision. This was a previous applicant that's been to the board at the beginning of last year, and Ms. Gold is the project lead.
Oh, Chairman, I forgot to mention, actually, Christian Luisi was online for the
Oh.
signs.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mention it, but just for the record, he was here if you guys had any questions, and he did listen.
Okay.
And I believe that Luigi is also online now.
Let's back up to Mr. Luisi. Did he send correspondence or text you? Or
No, he
or-
seemed
okay.
fine with everything.
Did
I
he-
just forgot to tell you he was online.
Okay, not a problem. Does he want the opportunity to respond to anything that we just?
No, I think he's very happy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the clarification. Okay. Do we have a representative from the applicant for 2727 Balltown Road here?
Yes, Luigi Palesci with ABD Engineers.
Is that Luigi?
Yeah, Luigi, you're very fuzzy.
Hang on.
Yeah, he's probably gonna try and rejoin here in a second.
I'll just give him a moment. Okay, so since the applicant was with us last year, there had been some updated items on the plat plan.
Is that better?
Mr. Paleschi, you on?
Mr. Pleshy, can you hear us?
Well,
Go ahead.
the town designated engineer had raised a couple of issues. And by correspondence back November 19th, ABD has addressed those concerns. And I think we're now at a point where we can go forward.
Okay.
And make a secret determination and maybe even call for the public hearing.
Okay. Right, so some additional information has been provided by the engineer for the stormwater. The town designated engineer has reviewed that in their letter. And Mr. Paleschi, are you online?
I am. Can you hear me now?
Good, we can, very clearly.
All right. Sorry about that. And I apologize. I couldn't be in person. Just feeling under the weather, getting everything everybody else gets nowadays.
Okay. So we just did a quick recap of the application status that's here right now. So additional engineering has been done since the last time we looked at the application. There's some information that was provided by the TDE in a letter, and looks like it's moving forward in the correct direction. Did you want to talk about anything specifically?
Not unless the board is looking for something specific, but you know, I do acknowledge working with the TDE on the stormwater design. It's a small, depression detention basin at the very back of the new lot where it continually drains towards the back, away from, all the residents and down into natural drainage areas. There were some comments, we addressed them, and I appreciate moving the project forward, to the next step. If there's any more details that the board's looking for, I can answer them.
I understand this new home has been designed.
That I'm not aware of. The footprint that we show there, I do believe is what we had proposed by the applicant. It's a 40 by 64 footprint home. I know we had discussions about the finished floor elevations, which we all agreed on, and even the easement along Balltown Road for future sidewalks. I don't know, where we are to date, but I can certainly ask the applicant and ensure that that is the latest footprint.
We'd like to have that included on the plan along with the drainage and grading.
Yeah, the drainage and grading is on this latest plan. I believe the plan is dated November, if I can't read my title block there, but I see, I'm looking at the drainage and there's a detention basin, like I had mentioned, towards the rear of this lot. And, there's a small pipe that allows the drainage to continue out back towards the natural drainage course. So those details are on the plan. The one thing I'm just not aware of is, if that is the final home design, and I'll certainly get the footprint from Mr. Sink.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, he submitted a building permit for the building. So
Okay,
there's
so-
definitely a more recent footprint. Obviously, it could be
Yes.
issued.
I do think it is, but this project's been, I can't recall since the last time. I know we worked on the drainage lastly, but I don't remember where the exact footprint came from. And my guess is Mr. Singh provided the footprint to my surveying partner, Bob Davis, who, put the plot plan together. So I do believe it is, but, I can't say that it is. So I'll just confirm it for the next meeting.
Okay, and I just had one other question. Clark, I know Clark and you and the TDE have been going back and forth a lot But had we discussed moving the outfall of the Lightstone outfall back away from the property line a little, so that it's not sort of directly discharging onto the adjacent property? Did we discuss that with you at all?
We did, and I think with the Lightstone fill that we added, I believe the TDE agreed that the Lightstone fill would allow it to reduce velocity, and it'll continue on to the back. It's not gonna go over the property line, to the north. It'll just, all the grades go, kind of like northwest towards the existing drainage course in the back.
Okay, so the
So-
Lightstone was added in response to that comment of,
That's correct.
gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Laura, I guess as this moves forward, can we potentially look at eliminating that pipe? It almost seems unnecessary to add a pipe in an area where that basin could probably just overflow a weir and just go over grass to the property line instead of having a pipe that you need to maintain forever. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Could you have it flow overland, Luigi?
Not without making the basin deeper, right? So when we look at the pre to post development, we're designing something. We don't want to create like a large hole in the backyard. And, what we provided was a small depression, and then that 10-inch pipe, which controls the 110 and the 100-year storm event. I understand what you're saying. I think once grass grows, it could be 20 years from now or 30 years from now. I mean, that 10-inch pipe would take a lot to fill in. I don't know. It's just one of our designs to keep the low point, shallow instead of going super deep.
Yeah, would we be able to get a contour or bottom elevation or a cross section or something on this detention area? Because what I was looking at was the pipe invert was called out at 356, and the only contour for the basin was 357. So it looked like they were pretty close together, that you could potentially eliminate the pipe with some grading.
Yeah, but in order to do that, then you're going to have like stone up near the basin in the middle of the yard. This allows, just a small pipe that, you could mow around easily, which then, kind of directs it to daylight in the back.
Which would be the lesser hazard to the residents?
What we're proposing right now, because it, that culvert pipe and the stone is as far back in the property as we can put it, as opposed to, if I could have to go deeper and, create an outlet so that if the water climbs above, then, it's got to go over stone, and then you're going to have almost a ditch line from the middle of the property all the way back to get that water to daylight. I think this is a lot easier. You can mow over the pipe as opposed to, trying to create a ditch from the middle of the property to the back.
Yeah, that's fine. I think just as this moves forward, if there's some of those details, like what that pipe inlet looks like, because obviously you can't mow over the inlet. There's going to have to be some type of structure there for water to flow into.
No, it's just going to be a 10-inch hole opening right there.
Would it normally have a grate or something on it though? Or
No.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's just a pipe. It's just a pipe that when the water comes in, it finds that invert of the pipe and it goes out the pipe. And then as the storm increases, more water goes in through that pipe, and then the velocity gets dissipated in the stone at the very back of the property. I mean, we've designed many of these, and there's never been an issue.
If you're a homeowner like me, and you don't want to have to mow too close to that opening, you put in ground cover and never have to deal with it, except for weeding.
The inlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to avoid a big swale or a ditch, along the, from the middle of that property to the back. I think the piping allows, better maintenance for, grass mowing on top of the pipe as opposed to, a ditch.
So I guess my only question or comment on that is that it's actually very wet back there anyway, and I don't know that it's mowed now. If that detention area is kind of a depression, is that area behind the detention area really going to be useful for a yard? Or are they probably not going to mow it anyway? Because I don't know. Like maybe it makes
don't-
more sense to make
Yeah,
it a little deeper.
I think,
And it
I
doesn't
think
need-
with
doesn't need
the
to be solved.
drainage provided, it may allow them to utilize that back area now, with this drainage. Because right now, everything just flows to the back and, with that pipe, it's going to control it
Yeah,
a lot better than, so it's possible that, we could utilize or gain more grass area for this homeowner.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to get solved now. It just seemed a little odd for a small one-family lot to have such a big, stormwater drainage pipe on it with this detention area, like you said, in the middle of the backyard.
It looks way better than what I've got.
Okay, one of the other things based on the current status of the planning department's building application, can you just double check that when you set this house that's been designed on here, that it doesn't trigger any setbacks, or it's pretty close to the location that's there?
Yeah, I'll double check that.
Okay.
Right now, we're not proposing any variances. I see the closest to the left line is 17 feet, where 15 feet is required, and we have the house set back 33 feet as opposed to right on the 30-foot front setback line. So we've got some wiggle room here.
Okay. And just from looking at this sketch, it appears that the garage would be front loaded to Balltown Road. If that changes, or if the configuration changes and encroaches on those side setbacks, we might want to talk about that with the planning department.
Okay. Yeah, I'll confirm the house footprint and the front load garage for sure.
And
Get it on the plan.
Yeah, the tree council had looked at this one, and there's so many utilities. And then, of course, it becomes the Balltown Road right of way that in this particular instance, because it's basically impossible to make them public trees, they're going to put the subdivision trees, for all four of them, on the newly created lot, and they'll just have to be privately owned in this instance.
Okay. All right, good. So it looks like it's moving in the right direction. We'll get the secret determination plan updates, and then if everything looks good, we can call for a public hearing at the next meeting.
At the next meeting?
At the next meeting.
So do you want a resolution making the secret determination and calling for the public hearing at the next meeting? Or do you want to do it broken apart?
I think we can do them together.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if we get the update on the map with
The new plan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
the new building. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we'll work on that. As long as we can put it together, we'll have a resolution making a secret determination and calling for a public hearing. The CAC did look at this one and did, had the drainage and their kind of usual requests, but didn't outline any major significant concerns.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, so that'll conclude 2727 Balltown Road. Moving on to the next item for discussion items is 2305 Knott Street East. This is Katrina's Mexican Grill. Application to extend hours of operation until 2 a.m. Representative from the applicant here.
How are you?
Hey, Oscar, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good, good. So since the last meeting, when in December we had talked about, we were potentially looking at getting a resolution to look at extending the hours. Since then, planning department has reached out to police enforcement. We got a lot of additional information. So I'm going to give you some clarifications to bring the board up to speed.
Okay.
So originally, when you filed for an application to do an extended hours beyond 11 p.m., that was for a one-time event. Stayed open until approximately 2 a.m. or whatever. Planning department, police department, everyone was aware of that application. Since then, there weren't numerous conversations between yourself and police department on having this being a reoccurring event. So since the operations required a special use permit, or a permit to be applied for, not a special use permit, but that permit to be applied for, you have since been operating additionally after hours from what your current approved time, closing times are of 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. depending on the day,
Okay.
correct?
Mhm.
Okay. So that was the first thing. So the second thing is that we are also concerned about the approval of what your operation is doing based on operating as a restaurant, operating outside of those parameters as a nightclub or another type of event would trigger a different use for the zoning, and also would also maybe and potentially affect your liquor license that you currently renew as you operate your business.
Yeah.
Okay. So, given that information, we did, basically confirm that there's been a number of events that have been going on to continue those hours of operations. We understand that the reasoning for it is you're trying to increase business, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. And that it's currently just been contained to inside, which is, music, dancing. I don't know the additional food or liquor sales that are going on, but we're hoping tonight that you could maybe explain a little bit more of what's going on with the operations that are going on after 11 p.m.
Yeah, it's not like nightclub, you can say. It's more like we have a couple friends. We're doing like one of my friends, he doing like salsa night. Like we call it's like it's teacher salsa. So we try and find like stay a little bit late. They help my business a little bit more because those guys coming in there, play music late. They teach everybody whatever is gonna be there. So it's not like bring the DJ and stay in the night and nothing like nightclub. It's more like for specific days. The only reason why we're doing that is because like we don't know the exactly days when we're doing. For example, like it's coming like February 14. We're trying to do like something the night, stay a little bit late. Or it's not like every single week or every 2 weeks. It's more like when we have like Cinco de Mayo, we want to bring music and things like those. Like maybe country night, karaoke night, it's a couple difference. I don't know.
Okay. So since the December 22nd meeting, the police made a visit to hours of operations around 3 a.m., just before 3 a.m. on one occasion.
Yeah.
So I think that the intent of your operations is not to be a handful of nights. It seems like there's been a reoccurring. Is that true?
I think I know the day when you're talking, we buy a new audio system. They're supposed to be you can hear outside, and I'm bringing a couple of my friends to play music to see outside. We stay like very night, installing everything. They bring friends and like just like get a couple drinks in there and everything.
Okay.
But it's like we have supposed to be planning event for last week, and we canceled because we want to wait to that.
Okay. So one of the things that was also talked about at the last meeting was that we were looking into what the Schenectady County operates in as far as extended hours when bars and restaurants close.
Okay.
And then the same thing, we just recapped basically what the typical template is for Niskayuna businesses. The latest that most of them close is around 11 p.m.
Okay.
There's not a lot of extended hours areas here. It is in a very commercial area, but adjacent to other residences and the high school that's there. So I'm going to open it up to the board basically to continue this discussion on what the parameters are in case we were to consider doing the extended hours beyond 11 p.m.
Okay.
All right.
So as I'd indicated in the first meeting, and we did get the feedback from the police chief, I think the board may need to consider this as an application for a night. I don't want to call it a club, but a night facility as opposed to a sit-down restaurant. I think conflating the two causes some concerns relative to the code.
So I can work with Rob and Elena on that determination and double check it if you guys would like for me to do that. I'm happy to do that. I guess some of the confusion is Oscar's application, and he's verbally stating that we're doing kind of small things that are an extension of the restaurant. But it was confusing because there's, I guess, and I can't get them to load because I am useless on these things, like social media posts, where it looks more like it's a DJ that's bringing in a lot of people from all over the place, not just staying open for like local residents, like bringing like bringing up following of, to here, and that is more like a nightclub, and that would be something that we would have to make a separate determination on. So I guess we're just trying to nail down exactly what it is that's happening there.
Do you mean like when the DJs come in, they post all the social media and everything? Those guys get it like, I don't know how it's planned to you. So when you get it like, remember when I'm asked for the permit to help somebody? Obviously we have to get a DA from here. So the only how the DA is coming is like they make fly, they post, they want to bring their own people too, because at some point the DJ said like, I can go to your restaurant, play music, and not bring my crowd people, because it's gonna be looks empty, and after that nobody's gonna be like, it's something where the DJ's low is. I don't know, you understand? They want to go play, and they want to like, I feel like they got like group followers. So for example, like I'm bringing the DJ from Syracuse, they post to his story and everything. They don't want to look empty because the restaurant looks empty or something like that. I'll explain to the guys, like make the post and explain what it's for. Like the first avenue we're doing, what is for help, benefit something or something like that, bro. He's like, he make the fly and he posts in his social media. He opened a social media to that because they don't want to look too alone. But like the thing is like, I don't want to do a nightclub, nothing like that. I want to do like, I want to do it more for like karaoke night and like country night and things like that. Like more like for all us people. But like, for example, like remember I told you about the college night. They want to do like 18 and 8, come in and get food and stay a little bit late because there's nowhere they can do that. So thing like that, like only once a month, stay a little bit late.
I guess the confusion for us is what we thought the application was, but the reality that we've seen hasn't been that.
When he make videos like night videos and those.
Yeah.
Do you see the video he make?
I have not been able to see it.
It's, I know what you're talking about, but the video you can see is like same people. It's empty. They're doing the video for like promotion, and they put it the same people here, the same people over there. Like you focus on the video is exactly the same people move everywhere because they want to promote the people coming.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think my comment was a little more procedural. It was the difference between a place that is currently a restaurant with a certain hours of operation and a certain type of operation, sit-down restaurant, come in. And then I think our code does allow for some kind of a public entertainment facility, right?
Yeah, I'll go back and check.
Yeah. So
It
I mean,
has dance halls.
Okay, so yeah, that sounds about right, right? And so the question is, how do we approach this? Because for me, extending the definition of a sit-down restaurant to just the basic description, that Mr. Leon had mentioned, it doesn't fit together. It seems like it's a different thing. So we should hear what the application is in terms of the different thing.
Right, except, restaurants in Niskayuna are allowed to have trivia nights, and restaurants,
Allowed to have events.
right. So it's kind of hard if you draw the line at saying, okay, like karaoke, trivia nights, a band, and then say, but a DJ that's, I don't know what you call it, like group drumming up.
I hear you, Laura, right?
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm really articulating is that there seems to be a little bit of grayness here in the definitions. And I'm just trying to look for a basis to navigate it in considering this.
The reason why I apply for the permit is because like how she said we're doing trivia, and it's like something normal. The only team when the DJs and more like Latino stuff. For example, like you're doing bachata night, you bring like those guys coming to dance bachata and everything. Bro, the DJs now, like I feel like all DJs they get like their own camera guy. They make like videos. They want to make it looks weird, bro. Like then it's like we have 2 tables. Then I when they make the video, they come in and ask us like, "You walking over there? Do you see the same faces in the videos?" And I feel like it's a little difficult for us too because when you bring a DJ, they make looks like they want to make business too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I understand that. And again, I'm not looking to critique or evaluate any of the comments you're making about how the usage is, right?
Yeah.
I think from how you've described it, both in the last meeting we've had and today,
Mhm.
I'll speak for myself. It's just not clear to me that this is the context, that our definition of a sit-down restaurant fully embodies this context. If the answer is that it does, then I think we can proceed that way. But if there's an answer that it doesn't, then I think we need to proceed a different way. So anything I'm saying doesn't reflect on your activities in that
Mhm.
facility on the things that you've been doing, right? That whatever permits you need, whatever, right, those go through a different process. It's just for the request that you've made,
Mhm.
what is the right way that this board should be approaching it, right? A sit-down restaurant with this listing of activities, especially wanting to be open until 2, 3 a.m., right? That was the 2 a.m.
Mhm.
Or is this really a public entertainment, public dance facility? And if it is, then we'll have that discussion, right?
I have a question, just for clarity. So, if there are restaurants that have trivia nights, and then his restaurant has a trivia night, but their promotion is just more successful, or the crowd is a little bit younger, then I think, you know what I mean? Like, so if another business had really successful promotion and then they were really crowded, I'm trying to figure out like
Yeah, and for me, in that case you mentioned, it's for me, I'll consider it kind of irrelevant because if trivia night, regardless of whether there's 1,000 people attending or, max limit of the floor attending or 2 people attending, but if that's something we've all agreed upon based on our code and based on our practice, that happens in the context of a sit-down restaurant, then all good, right? Fill the floor every night for trivia night. But I think we need to look at each of the cases that are being proposed for use and what's the right direction in which we can approach it. Okay, other folks can, that at least I'm speaking for myself, other folks can weigh in and think if it's way off, right? The main thing I'm looking for is clarity on how to assess the kind of activities you're describing,
Mhm.
and that's staying open until 2 a.m. in which context, right? If it was a sit-down restaurant, I think we go in one direction. If it's something else, we go in another
The
direction.
only where we try and do it, we try and follow that. I'll be honest with you, we try and follow the competition. Like for example, last Friday, I'm driving around to see like how all the restaurant is because now that now the economy is not good, the restaurant is like getting a hard time. So I'm driving to different restaurants and me and other restaurant we have like 4 or 5 tables and the restaurant who's got a DJ, who's got a like music, people is like full. And like how I said the last time, I'm going to one of those restaurants in there, and I'm finding people from this Cayuna customers I have coming here every day for lunch over there, like have fun. So I'm gonna start like ask people like how I can like.
No,
get it
understand.
at.
I mean,
So
understand the
that's what
problem
we're
you're trying to solve.
We're not trying to do like every night, but we're trying to do like. I mean, you can say like this doing like that or specific how you want me doing or anything. I don't want to do like something wrong or anything. That's why I'm here. I want to be in the same place that everybody, and I want to do like something where you can come with your family, dance a little bit salsa, get 1 or 2 drinks, go back home, or stay like weekends for soccer game or football game, stay in there till like 1 in the morning because the restaurant is not that good right now. We don't make like really good, so we try like figure it out. And I feel I see like in Iscayuna, there's nowhere you can go and get a drink in the night. You have to drive 20 minutes. So I even like not have a DJ. I really want to be open a little bit more late because they're thinking like all day I don't have any business like today, and I have 6-7 people coming like 10:30, 11. They want to stay there watching TV, and I have to say like, you know what, you have to go. So I'm like, oh, very. Now my business is not that good, so I'm trying to like push a little bit more to doing better. And I think that's one point that's gonna be helping me a lot. Like I can have a no DJ, it's fine, but like I want to be open a little bit late to doing different things like karaoke night. Karaoke is like a little bit more relaxed. We can like doing anything.
Yeah.
Just
No, yeah. I mean, I think I feel clear what you're trying to do, right? I'm just trying to get it evaluated the right way in the board. I think what you're describing is a little bit challenging underneath the sit-down restaurant definition, but it might be really easy if we're talking about a public dance facility.
Yeah.
And so then it becomes a use, a mixed use type
Well,
thing, right?
my biggest concern is the deck, because I don't want a lot of music out on the deck later at night,
yeah.
because it is going to carry to the neighbors.
No, it's not. We use the deck to put it. So the how we doing those time when we're doing is like we take like it's like 5 tables for outside. We take like half restaurant and we put in the deck. So the deck is like nobody can go on there. We have access is clear and everything, but like it's closed. So everything is inside. We put a new system audio. You can play music and walk inside and you can't hear anything.
And I've got a couple of comments. I don't think I know a restaurant where if they're having a wedding party, whether it's a rehearsal dinner or the after wedding party, that doesn't bring in music or allow the couple to bring in music. It's normal. There is a precedent in the county, not in the town that I know of, but it was adjacent to the town line practically. Years ago, there was a nightclub, kind of a disco really, and they would once a month on a Sunday afternoon, they would not serve alcohol and they would invite all the underage folk to come and dance, listen to the music. And it was a wonderful activity. My 2 oldest nephews and I loved it. And I think that's an opportunity that maybe should be available to people.
Yeah.
Dancing's a great activity, even if you're lousy at it like I am. I don't know if there's a differentiation in terms of the liquor licensing between a restaurant and a nightclub. And I think that's something we should
I'm calling
pin
get
down.
information about that, and my liquor license is this way. So the next day, you're supposed to can be open to 3 in the morning. But my liquor license, I can sell liquor only to 2 in the morning. Is why I'm asking that. So I can get a liquor. They shouldn't get like appetizers or anything in the menu. I can't doing that.
Yeah. And where was I going? There are very few places in Schenectady to go dancing, period, for any age.
Yeah.
I mean, our code does speak to a public entertainment license, right? I'm looking at it right now. And so, look, again, just clarity in how to proceed. It's clear what the applicant want. I feel the applicant is clear about what he would like to do. Like I said, I just have a question about looking at this as a context of a restaurant, public entertainment license application, or a public dancing facility, right? Which our code, I know I'm looking at it. Our code mentioned those phrases explicitly.
So I just, excuse me, I agree. Our job is to interpret the code for the town and do what we think is best for the town. But I saw the video, and the video was really wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if your video person that's what they're doing to drum up business, that's great. But if you're going to stay up until 2 or 3 o'clock, I think any of us that have been out at 2 or 3 o'clock knows what an establishment looks like at that hour, the condition that people are in. And I do have a really difficult time thinking that you're going to contain that music. You are right next to the high school. You have homes across the street. And again, we have to interpret Niskayuna's
Yes.
code, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so we
you're
have
right.
to follow the rules that way.
Yeah.
But we would be remiss if we didn't express our concern that if I was a resident of that area and I knew this was going in, I'd be here for every single time you were here to talk about it. So I'm not casting shade on you, okay? But I'm saying if that video represents what you're doing, that's not what you're saying you're going to do.
Yeah, I know exactly what
Okay,
you say. Yeah.
so, and you should always know that if it's on social media, everybody's gonna see it, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
you're
it's, and I appreciate what you're trying to do. I agree, I think Niskayuna should have some nightlife. I don't necessarily think it should be 2 o'clock. I respect your request,
Mhm.
and I'm certain that after we're done interpreting the code, that democracy will,
Mhm.
prevail, and it's
Still
whatever.
alive.
Right.
A little bit.
But I was troubled when I saw the video.
Mhm.
So I'll
Yeah.
just leave it at that.
Yeah, I know. When I see that video too, I'm like, I'm not put a lot of attention because what I'm worried for is normal for what we're doing. And like how I told you, I'm working Syracuse before for somebody else, and it's normal how those guys come in and prepare everything looks like super nice and make like people that want to come in there. They're supposed to. It's like marketing. How you, for example, when I'm doing my videos for the restaurant, I'm doing my service, sit down on the table and move everybody. I know why you say, brother, we can't focus on karaoke night, salsa night, or even like, do you guys know great with that? I don't have any problem with not doing. But like for me, it's like a little bit help, and I have like all my employers is like from here too. So I realize like when we stay a little bit night, for example, like right now my servers, I have a couple servers like they don't want to come to work because we don't make any money. But when we're doing that, they make like a couple hundreds extra serving people and things like that. So this help. It's gonna be help me and it's gonna be help my business run because I don't find how push that a little bit more. I have to see what happens.
And we want you to have a successful
Yeah,
business.
thanks.
But we definitely need to work within the parameters that we're
Yeah.
given to.
Yeah, I know what you said.
Right. And previous owners of that business have had live music. It started earlier, and a lot of them weren't open late, past 10 o'clock even. And, one owner was there for about a decade.
Mhm.
So I think that, we understand what your request is, but again, if it's, some of this is driven financially for you, maybe there's another, marketing direction you can take a look at.
Exactly.
Open till 2 a.m. is setting a pretty big precedent with, nothing else around here in Niskayuna. Even some of the other restaurants close,
Yeah.
I think before 11 p.m. in that area as well.
Yeah.
So it's, you're one of the ones that stays open a little later. I think,
But I don't think the county has to limit that early in the evening. I think the county limit is actually 2. I might be wrong. Have we had a chance to check that? But I think last call has to be by 2 a.m.
Mhm.
And then you're allowed to stay and finish your drink.
Right. Now, if part of your application might be, a schedule of events that you have where you've operated off of that permit before, where, you're going to stay open past midnight or till 1 a.m. or whatever it is, and that's above board with the police department, I don't know what the threshold would be of how many permits would be, usually it's occasionally you get one, but if it's 2 to 3 a month, that's, it's not really,
Difficult. Yeah.
well, it's not really working within the parameters of what the intent is for
Mhm.
having an event that stays open occasionally. All right. Go ahead.
I don't have a problem with 2 a.m. like on Friday and Saturday. Maybe weeknights earlier would be better.
Yeah, and the weeknights we close. We short the hours because it's like the restaurant is not that good, so we close at night. And the week times, and the restaurant now we close at 10 o'clock in the weekends.
Yeah. I know the dance crowd generally doesn't go out for 5 o'clock dinner and dancing.
it's
They
so-
want it later.
Yeah, it's so difficult to get it crowd
Yeah.
coming early.
You're aiming for a different demographic than people that get out of work and go to dinner and
Yeah.
maybe hang out for a little bit.
Stay a little
Okay.
bit.
Well, people want to go dancing, usually need to do things like change.
All right. So I think
Especially the
we've,
ladies.
yeah, we've got some internal information that we've got to check on with the county and look at the classification of the request to stay open, if that's going to remain under the current
Yeah.
restaurant.
The years when I can't give you Laura the video, the right video from the restaurant when we're doing that inside. You guys can see like it's only 2 tables inside. There's only so many people walking on the cameras and everything. And I can show you how the yes work is.
Okay.
Because it's we have 3 tables there now, where everybody is like, you know how they work, dancing, making people looks bigger.
Okay.
And
Any-
it's not my point. I want to get it that clear. I don't want to do nightclubs. I don't want to get it like DJs and people. I want to do like karaoke night, salsa night, and maybe like how I say once a month. For example, for Cinco de Mayo, maybe bring a DJ and stay a little bit late and then get it like friends and family, whatever. It's not like nightclub like every Sunday, shut the doors, stay like so in the top of every weekend it's like maybe like February 14th we can do like love night, everybody coming and enjoy the time.
Right. But that would be basically occasionally throughout the year.
Yeah.
This is,
I don't want to do it every week. I said that the first time. I don't want to do it weekly.
Okay.
The only how we doing over there, and that's how I want to do it, is I want to get it. I want to feel like free to say like, oh, this coming Mother's Day, we can bring the party tonight and bring people and stay here. And I don't want it like how coming here and say like, oh, let me do it. Like the whole process every time when we're doing something. But it's not every week, definitely. We're doing trivia night every week. We're doing maybe karaoke night every week, but karaoke night start like 8 to 11. So I don't have a lot of employees that want to stay late. So, you know, like when you stay late, you have to get it more work, and I stay working by myself and everything. So I don't want to do it every weekend.
Mhm.
But like for the restaurant, it's really important to get it like a specific days. Bring music, bring mariachi, bring party, bring things like those to get it more customers and want money. We want to make money.
okay. All right. So any other last comments or anything from the board? Okay. We'll follow up with this information and I keep you on as a discussion item.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys call me.
Yeah, and I guess the specific thing is, in terms of the application, do we have a listing of all the usages that are being requested? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure that that's complete. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
take another look at it and.
Okay.
Right.
Cheers. Let me
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, next up is 3515 Rosendale Road. This is an application for a 2-lot subdivision. Do we have a representative from the applicant here or online? Be Mr. Mufti.
If you are joining us online from the phone, you may have to press *6 to unmute yourself. Because there are so many people that join remotely, you may have been automatically muted by the system. So
No? Okay.
I think they are here. I'm wondering if they're having problems unmuting themselves.
Okay, well, while you try to queue them up, I'll recap. So since the last meeting, the applicant has reached out to Town of Colony and looking to get some feedback from them. They basically said that there was no further subdivision information required for the applicant. So I think at this point, it's pretty straightforward what the applicant is aiming to achieve here with the subdivision of Lot 1 and 2. And is he online yet?
Yeah, because both the phone numbers on here to me show that they're unmuted.
Okay.
So you'd have to press *6, I think. who wanted to speak.
Technology is so good when it works.
Okay. So I think in summary from the last meeting, the applicant did reach out to Town of Colony. They referred it back to us as the lead agency. There isn't any additional information that they needed to add or amend to this. So given where the applicant is, it looks like they've got the site plan updated with enough information to show, thank you, Laura, for the 2-lot parcel subdivision. So where that diagonal line slashes through over on the lot to the right, that's the area that's in the Town of Colony. That is the private road area on the backside there that would have access to it. And so I think at this point, we are probably ready to call for resolution to take action on sketch plan. Anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, the only question we put in the agenda statement is just, I'm not exactly sure how the utilities are run there, but I do think that that is something that we could tackle in a minor subdivision application.
Okay.
The land itself, the land division itself seems to make sense.
Okay. We don't have a project lead on this, but this is relatively straightforward. I think the applicant's done the due diligence that they needed to do since the last meeting with the adjacent municipality, and nothing's arisen from that. So if things are good, I think we'll call for the resolution. Good? Okay. All right, so that'll close out that one. Next up is 2690 Balltown Road, GE Vernova, site plan application for a security station near Balltown Road.
Good evening, Matt Savoy, GE Vernova, Facilities Operations Leader.
Welcome back.
Thank you, glad to be here.
All right. So the application package had a very nice cover letter on it, along with a lot of graphics and images that were there. So to kind of recap from the previous project that you had, there's a small, we'll call it a security station that was going to be partway up the long driveway. When we had talked about that at one of the previous meetings, one of the questions that did come up was if somebody was to go to that queue up and not be allowed in, they had to actually bypass the security station, go up to the parking lot, turn around, and then if they didn't go directly by, you had to go get them, or somebody had to go get them. So with that, I think there's probably been, looks like some internal review of what you have here. And then down off Balltown Road, where the current, just past where the current monument sign is, I think there's the proposed location that would be a highly visible entrance to the GE Vernova campus.
Yes, sir. So the original guardhouse you're talking about that we presented last year, 1,750 feet in. You see the black service road.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you wanted to do this one first.
I'll do them in whatever order y'all want.
Okay, that's your order.
So just an overview of the project, right? So this security center, it's about 1,600 square foot facility on 1 story. To your point, it is going to be prominent to the residents, to the town. You know, this is our one forward-facing image that GE Vernova will have in town to the community. Trying to make it look welcoming, you know, very park-like, you know, and I'll show some renders. You'll see lots of similar aesthetics you've seen throughout our property. So lots of meadows, high grasses, obviously indigenous native plants. So you'll see lots of that stuff. There is a interactive sculpture that we'll present and we'll talk about a little bit. And you'll see why when we say the word interactive and sculpture, I'll talk to that a little more and kind of show you why we're saying that. So you can see kind of to the chairman's point here, it is out there towards Balltown Road. There's a parking lot, the structure, and then again, that, you know, more of a small space with that interactive sculpture. So this is kind of a bird's eye here of your site plan. Kind of in the middle of the page in the bottom there, you see the actual structure itself. There we go. I was more prepared this time. So there's the structure, the parking lot in the back here. And then you see kind of some of these areas here that are interactive, very artistic. same designers that we've used for other outdoor spaces, trying to keep the same aesthetic the way the property looks as we walk through this.
The guardhouse further up the road will remain, right?
Correct, sir. Yeah, so the intention of this space is, right, as people come into the chairman's point, they pull off, they go in, they get all their credentialings checked. We do sensitive work on this property as well. So we do need to be very cognizant, especially with foreign nationals that visit. We have very specific procedures that we follow. The government does audit us in those procedures, right? So we make sure that we've credentialed everyone. This gives us an opportunity to screen them here. This gives us an opportunity as well as if they're not supposed to be on property to, politely give them an opportunity to exit in a better fashion than, backing up and having to come in, turn around, et cetera. Flip, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
So here you see the interactive sculpture. And when we talk interactive, so you see the person in a wheelchair here. That's right off this first bend. It can come down here. But really the intention is to bring people up to it, to let people take pictures with it, to kind of be an interactive piece. As we look at the county from a county level, obviously downtown in the Electric City, we've got a pretty substantial sign on the top of Building 37, right? That says, General Electric. It has the meatball on it, and it's a legacy in Schenectady County for 100 years, right? This is a bit of our nod to that, with also a vision of the future, right? So we really kind of wanted to do something in Niskayuna here where, again, it ties the two. You see our history, we acknowledge our history, and it's very deep. But now after, General Electric split up and we have all these different organizations, Renova's focused on sustainability, decarbonization, electrification, right? So how do we show that to people and kind of who we are and make that announcement or that, that welcoming gesture? Just some cool things you might not notice. These benches here that you'll see, we call them dingbats. It's actually the negative space of the meatball here. So we've kind of done some cool things. So you'll see those dingbats around this plaza area. So again, we've really tried to give a strong nod to our history here, while again, acknowledging the future. You can just click through these, Laura.
But the expectation that people who come to the Security Welcome Center will be people who are intending to visit the campus deeper in, right?
That is our intention.
It's
Yes.
not like, a couple of kids from across the street want to go to a cool place to hang out.
That is
and
not the intention. Correct.
They're going to be ushered away here, right?
Politely.
Yeah. Okay. To make sure.
What's the capacity of that, and who would be in that building staffing it?
Yeah, so staffing, the intention is actually 24/7 staffing. It'd be a couple security officers, and then I'll say on day shift, call it 8 to 4-ish, a receptionist, so more of a different face at a desk, if you will. But again, we called it security center. There is a security office in here. That's where we'll do some monitoring of CCTV. We'll take any alarming and dispatch officers, et cetera, out of the center.
I have never heard it referred to as the meatball, but I think that's pretty great.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is.
Laura, could you
Just a little
bring
less
up the
delicious.
site
Yeah,
plan?
You mind if we stay on that render for a second?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing to point out, a feature you'll see similar to something else. This is, again, a rain garden in here. So a lot of integrated stormwater management. We tried to look to see all the different types of elements we could bring in. So this is just one I think is really cool. It's really pretty, but obviously incredibly functional as well.
So I have a question on the site plan, just approaching the site, and then just the sequencing of somebody
Yeah.
that goes through. So as you come in off of Balltown Road on that site plan, there was a few things called, they're labeled traffic sensors. Looks like they're put into the pavement there.
There are existing traffic sensors.
Those are existing traffic sensors for that. So that gate will still be there? Or how does that work? So what keeps somebody from driving directly past this up to the guard shack?
There's nothing.
Nothing. Okay. So you're going to use wayfinding signage or whatever to direct people to take that first right.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, because on one of the renderings, it shows like a guard shack right next to the second entrance.
It's a little further past it. It should be like
It'd be
right up.
1,750 feet back.
Right. The first rendering in the package showed one, so it made it almost seem like there was a second one, like right there in the bottom left of that
Oh,
picture. Made
that
it look like
doesn't
there was going to
exist.
be a separate one put in. Okay.
That doesn't exist. Just crop the image.
And then same on this one. Are the trees and the existing monument sign in that corner at the entrance, are those proposed to be taken out, or are those going to stay?
Yeah, great question. So the existing monument sign, the intention's always been to keep it. As you see, we've set this fairly back off the property line and on purpose to try to respect some of that screen space in front of it. In doing so, though, it does make it, you can see actually here.
Right.
That person in the little yellow jacket up top, that's the corner of the building back there.
Okay.
So for wayfinding, we felt it appropriate to keep something still out there. We're looking at, we had a good recommendation from the CAC last week, actually, about rotating the sign 90 degrees, making it double sides. You can see it both coming up and down Balltown. So that's actually something I talked to Laura this morning about. Wasn't trying to surprise you guys with new information, but that was something actually we got that feedback last week Wednesday evening from the CAC. So we're already trying to act on it.
And we have the address, because the interactive sign doesn't have any address. So I have the address for the driveway.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll be a digital sign. No,
Neither one of them would be
neither.
different.
Okay. All right.
So technically, I guess we'll call it the GE monogram and the lettering is really signage. It's not interactive artwork
Which is why
or
we're-
installation. So I think that's one of the things that we have to sort of vet out here as the planning board because of what we've done previously on your signage package. It is a large campus. Seems to be integral with the vision and the master planning that you've demonstrated the last 3 years, I think it's been. So going through, I think just initial reactions to looking at this, it seems like it would have a lot of benefit to that campus that it is, demarcated. Like you've mentioned before, when you do drive up that long driveway, it is pretty placid. You don't see much. The guard shack would then give you another indication. And it was sort of like minor steps to get to the campus itself. This really creates almost like an entrance portal of some sort. And I think if it further enhances the security of the site, not only for people that are visiting for you, people that you don't want visiting, but also for emergency services, that's a pretty good, indication that, this is where it is. You're going to see the first person there. So I think those are definite, benefits that I can see coming from this right here.
Yeah, and a couple of things I can touch to on that. One thing I've talked with Chief Fina, for example, he was on property. It all blurs together in the last 4 weeks. But when we have an event, my intention with security staff is to meet them at Balltown Road for the first contact, right? So I want to meet first responders at the roadway, give them their first download of, you're coming in, you're going to this building, this is what we know, right? So that would actually happen directly out of the security center where we dispatch internal response from. So they would handle that. Another interesting thing, there's a small conference room in this structure, about 8 chairs in it. But it actually gives us a conference room outside our secured perimeter. So let's say you had a foreign national come and they're not going to be allowed on property for certain reasons. We do have the ability to put somebody in a conference room and have a discussion if we need to. That's outside our secured perimeter. So it does give us some flexibility there as well, because it has to be a secured campus.
Do you currently take them off campus someplace else if that's the case?
To the Mexican restaurant. Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay.
Is the intent for people to have to get out of their cars to get through security?
So up here, you wouldn't be going through security, so we'd be doing your credentialing. So you'd park your car, you'd walk up, you'd present your credentials, we'd validate them, we'd give you a temporary badge for the day. You get in your car, you drive up to that guard shack. Once you get there, you present your credentials, the guard's able to scan it, so it's a scannable ID. Yep, they said you're good, the gate opens, and you come on onto the property.
So you would have some sort of barrier?
So at the guard shack,
But at
we
the
already
guard
had
shack, yeah, down at the guard shack. Was that part of the original proposal? It had a barrier there?
There's yard
Gate?
arms.
Oh, one of the arms. Okay.
Ahmet, you also said you're sort of putting trails so that your employees can come out and have little spots to sit.
Yeah, so we have some on the backside. You'll see some just park-like looking trails with some benches. Nothing terribly over the top, but thinking about, again, how do you utilize the space maybe a little bit more? Silly things, but like Uber Eats is a big thing now, right? Like people order Uber Eats and then they're like, oh, my Uber driver can't get my food here because security stopped them. So going forward, it would be, all right, well, your Uber Eats is going to stop at the visitor center, the security center. The intention is that you come down here, you get your food, but then if you want to eat on a bench, you can eat on a bench, whatever, before you kind of come back.
That makes sense.
It does.
Yep.
Yeah. I've even gone as far as like looking into if they have like, if you know, like Amazon pickup at Home Depot, they have lockers. Like, could I do that and give people codes? Your food gets put in a locker.
So one of the practical things we have to look at, considering the logo and the GE Vernova, we'll call them freestanding letters. So that really constitute as signage, is the way we look at it. Would there be anything else on the security building signage wise?
So I believe in the render you can see the.
I saw some numbers that were on there.
I believe you can see the numbers on.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I assume there'll be some wayfinding sign right at the entrance that says all visitors must turn in here, something like that.
So for this seating here, I'm just looking at where Bowltown is. Will there be any barrier, or is it just as the rendering is, where it's just open grass and then the seating area starts?
Yeah, the intention is to leave it meadow. So overseed with like a meadow mix.
But this is not meant for the public.
No.
Is that, I'm just foreseeing the issue with, like kids, and is that going to be?
So there's no sidewalk there. The property is posted. You'd have to either be coming through the woods or drive up the drive really to go there. This isn't uncommon to have a building like this at the start of a property, and I do know we have some in town here. And actually at the CAC, we had a good conversation potentially about even partnering with the town at the soccer fields to do something to just more talk about the company, so that it quells some of the interest, if you will, a little bit, or maybe satisfies people, right? So we did have a good discussion. I said to Laura, if there's an opportunity to partner with the town on something there, we'd absolutely be interested. So.
Yeah, because as you were describing this, and you maybe slipped once when you said visitor center instead of security center, and Mr. Khan's comment about kids going there or something, it does look intriguing and inviting that if there were if it's outside your secure perimeter and there was a way to put interpretive information, signs that people could get like if they were driving by and because you don't really know that it's there unless you know it's there, because there's such a small sign, but you're a big part of the community. I mean, if you had discussions about doing something at the soccer field, that'd be interesting too. But I mean, it does look like a very inviting spot.
Yeah, and again, you're seeing these close-ups. If you go to that picture though of how far off the road this is, you would have to make an extremely intentional decision to come here. There's no sidewalks. It's set off the road almost, I think it's 175 feet-ish. Laura, I think it's a little bit more than that, to be honest with you.
And it's manned 24 hours a day, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So,
and there would be security cameras. So if someone decides they just want to be hokey and climb around or something like that, again, we would catch that on camera. Security would come out and approach someone. And, this is one of those things, right? This isn't an armed facility. Security is not coming out rushing at you. They'd approach you and say, ask you, what's your business there? And say, this isn't a public space. We'd politely ask you to leave.
It also looks like Peter has potentially put the stormwater treatment area between this and the road. So it's probably, I would guess, like kind of a big dip, be hard to walk through.
Yep.
So just from my concern, which is, it's also not as obvious. Directly across the street is a neighborhood that's like, it's three cul-de-sacs and lots of kids, and lots of kids that are on bikes and are very curious. So I guess my concern is once people start to, chatter, that you probably will have some people or kids meandering. So I'm just, and especially I'm not sure what the stormwater will look like, but that's, I know in that neighborhood, they have similar things, but they put gates around it. I'm just wondering if there's any signage, or like I said, if you have open communication with the town and it's made known, that's not something that, you should be doing. Hopefully it'll deter it, but kids are kids.
Yep. And that is why we plan to be patrolling and staffed 24/7 as well.
Will the cameras have audio?
Do they capture audio or do they talk, if that's what you're asking?
Either, both?
They can capture, we don't talk through them, no. Not like a PA
Okay.
system, if that was the question.
Because I know those door cameras with the audio are pretty good at chasing visitors away from private homes.
The ring.
Yeah, so we may have an
Yeah.
intercom doorbell on the buildings that I would
Competitors.
expect, but that's not a big public address. That'd be like a ring doorbell on the building itself.
The evening rendering that you have, Laura, if you could bring that one up. So it shows some nice accent lighting on the benches. Is the logo and the letters, will they be semi-lit as well?
Yeah, so you can see their
Okay.
halo there.
Yeah. Okay. So they'll be softly lit, I guess would be a better.
Yeah, so it's going to reflect back towards the back of the sign and then comes back at you, right? So it's a very soft light.
Right. And so really your only types of, I would say like street lighting would be down lights that would be on the main driveway then, correct? And then into the parking lot area?
Correct, yeah. And we wouldn't expect a lot of traffic at night either in and out of the center.
Yeah, true. But like to Ms. Gomez's comment, there is a residential area right across the street, not super dense, but I don't know if it would be semi-attractive to kids on bikes, but
There's about like what,
But it-
80. I think there's.
It's a larger
it's
neighborhood.
it's a
than you
decent
think,
sized development. Yeah.
But it goes mostly back from the
Right.
road.
Right. Yeah. So
But
I
it's
don't-
manned though.
it's what?
It's a manned security center, right? There's somebody there visible through the glass, or not necessarily visible through the glass.
They could be. There's receptionists would be in the front during the day, and then security people are behind there. But again, if they're monitoring cameras. If there was someone there, they'd walk out.
As an applicant, we appreciate a lot of the information that you come with on the forefront with this. I think maybe with some of the renderings, just pulling together what some of that lighting might be on that driveway,
Okay.
parking lot, and things like that would just help.
Yeah.
So that we could back out an aerial view just to see what it is in proximity. That will be something that'll be very visible, not only on Balltown Road, but again from across the street.
Not a
So
problem.
just something to take a look
Yeah,
at.
the sign we're speaking about seems to be, it'll be facing northwest, right? And is all of it going to be visible from Balltown Road, or some of it, none of it? Do we have
The
do you
intention
have
is
an
that it would all be
elevation?
visible,
All of
the
it.
lettering and the meatball.
Okay.
And that is actually why you see it. It's perched there because it's a bit sunken.
Right.
And we sank it we wanted to pick up ADA accessibility down
Yeah,
there.
mhm.
So the rise over run to get that big ramp in sunk that
Mhm.
area, so we had to elevate the sign a bit to be seen.
All right.
Looks like an interesting project.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think there's been some discussion with some takeaway items as far as lighting, clarification on some of the security items that we talked about. In keeping in context of what we've done before, this would be a great opportunity for someone to take it on as project lead, go out, make a site visit, take a look at the actual staked out locations. That picture that you have with the truck and the parameters is very helpful. So that's good to see too. And I think because of the proximity to where this is to Balltown Road, a site visit would be good. Sure. We don't have snow on the ground, amazingly, at this
Right
point
now.
time of year, but just to take a look at that, it'll give a pretty good,
absolutely,
pretty good indication of where this is actually going to be situated.
Okay.
All right.
One thing, I think there might be at least two, including this one, there might be at least two, if not three, current applications, work being done in progress on the entire site, right? So my question has to do with specifically this application. What is the time frame you're looking at? If you move through the planning board successfully, there's no variances, doesn't need to go to the ZBA, or if you go to the ZBA, you're you're favorable there. What time frame are you looking at for the completion of the security center?
Yeah, so we've worked very closely with Laura and Clark to put this on paper,
Mhm.
making the bold assumption that we're able to go ahead and be successful in all the things, which includes ZBA. We've mapped all that out,
Mhm.
and we can get all this done by the end of March. We're looking to break ground in April and be done the end of the summer. So this, we were looking to move as quickly as, we're able.
And where does it put it relative to some of the other, how many other projects are going on? 2? 3?
So we currently have 2 open projects, yes.
Projects.
The
are they all-
the guardhouse should be done by the end of March, and the patio will be done this summer.
Okay.
And they're in construction phase.
Yeah, and I think Matt said the reason for the accelerated timeline is they kind of want to open the whole thing up together. Normally,
Yeah,
they
no,
wouldn't
I mean,
try
I
and
think
do
that's
things
why I
like
asked the question. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to, whether it was the dates you mentioned or another set of dates, I'm just looking for the proximity
Sure,
involved.
not a problem.
They did receive their denial for the sign sculpture. We do qualify it as a sign, so you will have to make a recommendation to the zoning board on it.
It's too bad we don't have something called an installation.
I looked.
Yeah, we do have to formally treat it as a
Not a
site,
problem at
so,
all.
yeah.
We understand.
Okay. Any other final comments?
I'm willing to work on this one. I think it'd be nice to share the fun.
Okay.
Anybody else is interested?
One other thing to think about is with GE on site plans, we actually don't typically call a public hearing because it's so far set. And also because it's going to the zoning board and the zoning board calls its own public hearing.
Okay.
So you guys, I think, would want to be thinking on whether or not you would want to call for a public hearing on this one. Like, it will have one at the zoning board, but it is specific to the signage, so.
All right. All right. Well, thank Ms. Gold for volunteering to be project lead. And we'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay, next up is 2310 Knott Street East, Empowered to Profit. This is a site plan application for a new signage. Do we have a representative from the applicant online?
Hi, this is Cheryl Belber, the CEO.
Okay. So currently, there is a building that has a business in it, and you're looking to replace the sign that's nested up on the edge of the roof, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That sign faces internally to the property. Could you,
Okay.
Laura, could you pull the
Yeah.
picture up? That would be,
I have too many of them.
yeah, it would be, it would be the second photo. I think it's the second photo.
That one? The next one.
Yeah, that one right there. Okay. So this would be over, I guess it would be one of the panels that's like a window that's adjacent to the doorway. Is that correct? There's a,
Yeah, this is a parking lot.
Hello, everyone. This is Matt Phelps, AJ Signs. I'm a project manager. Just want to kindly step in and say hello. Yes, that is a sign that's going to be pretty much right existing to the current one, and it's going to be located right on the roof.
is that Tom?
No, it doesn't sound like Tom.
Who, I'm sorry, who was it again?
This is Matt Phelps. I'm a project manager with AJ Signs Company. How are you?
Okay. I have to recuse from this because I have AJ Signs as a subcontractor on 2 projects. So I think for the moment here, I will. Can I turn it over to you to run this one?
Sure.
I didn't realize that AJ Signs was going to be representing the applicant on this because they had a different name at the top of the application. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Khan. He is going to chair this project.
All right. So I guess, the first question, so this seems to be just a replacement of the sign. Is the business is being conducted under this name, right? It's just
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's not really a tenant change, I guess.
Right.
Maybe the lady could speak to it more. It's like a merger or something.
Exactly. An acquisition, I would say.
So it's the same people, same employees, just different name.
so.
Correct.
So really, it's just a new sign.
Just a new sign.
In
Yeah,
the
I think-
zoning district, you
All right.
you do look at all the signs.
Yep. And the current application is, so I'll have to ask my question because I didn't do the math on it. Compliant or not?
I believe it's compliant.
Compliant.
Yeah.
Compliant.
And is it directly replacing the exact, it looks like it's like the exact
Exact
dimensions
same
and
shape.
style of the sign that's currently
Yes.
there, just slightly different color and obviously the wording.
A lot of
It's
verbiage.
10 square feet total.
This is considered part of the town center overlay?
It is in the town center overlay
Okay.
district. Yep.
And so from what I know about that, the low number of colors and contrast seems to be consistent with what we would have there, right?
Yeah. This doesn't need any variances or waivers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at the sake of sounding overly simplistic, this seems to be a very straightforward application with a straightforward request, right? So we could actually move to a resolution?
Yeah.
Does that sound, I think we're there. Rest of the board agrees, right?
I'm not comfortable with it.
Okay. Ms. Gold, what are your thoughts?
I think the smaller lettering is just excess verbiage. It's more advertising and pumping up the business than helping people find it. And I think it's distracting.
Yeah, but
So-
I would say if I saw that, like when
I need
this,
to know.
I wouldn't know what Empowered
I
to
would
Prop.
need to know.
I thought it was an investment firm, to be honest with you. So I think it needs some type of description as to what the business is.
I agree.
Yeah, the accounting, tax, and marketing makes sense. I guess the catchphrase or the bottom part might be a little excessive wording on the sign. And I don't know if it's, I don't know, it might be useful to see like how tall are those letters? Are they look hard to read, that sentence, but the accounting, tax, and marketing, I think should be there.
I'm okay with that part. It's that last line.
Yep.
I don't see a need for it.
But
And I think it's very distracting.
yeah, but by the way, the key thing is the sign is depicted with the lettering font sizes, right? It's still compliant. So I think we're making aesthetic recommendations, not compliance
Yes.
recommendations, which is fine, right? The applicant can. So I do have to ask: is there a monument sign in front of the buildings on this property?
There is not. No, I believe there is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, one of the depictions of the old sign and the old property did have a monument sign. So what's the status of that?
So there is
Yeah.
a monument sign. It's not like the monument. It's actually in here because Clark took these pictures.
What does
Here.
it say? Is it a building? It's a name for the building, not
Yeah.
the business, right?
It doesn't have tenants,
Yeah.
but it is a monument sign.
This business is, if you look at all the contiguous buildings on this property, there's room for multiple businesses, correct?
Yes.
Are they all filled, or is it just your business that's occupying a place?
No, there's multiple tenants.
Okay.
There's some vacancies.
Yep. So what is the signage for the other tenants right now? They look similar. We can see it on the edge of that same picture, Laura, if you just scroll to the left.
Yeah.
There seems to be something similar over there.
Right. They all kind of sit up on the roof like this.
Yeah, so is that common? I mean, it's been
Yeah.
a long time since I've actually paid attention to the site when you're at the post office, but
They don't face out to the road.
no, they all
They
face,
face
yeah,
the
So
parking
like-
lot.
yeah, they face the parking lot.
just a facing the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could probably bring it up.
But
on-
there seem to be some uniformity in shape and location on the roof facing the parking lot, right?
Yes.
Okay. But are we certain about the monument sign existing or not existing? I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, I think it's there. It's just, it's not like a tenant. It's not like one of those monument signs where you pop the panels in and out.
Right.
Right. So they
Yeah,
can't,
multi-tenant.
they can't advertise on the monument sign. It is
Right.
it labels the building.
So I brought up those points just to have it be clear to me and the board. There is a monument sign in front of the property. It's not the listing of tenant signs. And every individual business, it seems to have a sign, of which at least there's a few that look the same way mounted on the roof. But, again, I'll go back to, and, I'm just acting chair here on this one, right? I'm not sure if this requires a project lead in the sense that it is a compliant application. It's the replacement of a sign that's already there.
Yeah, it's
But-
actually required by code to come through us, but
Yeah.
I think in this
Mhm.
case, because it's not requiring any variances or,
Right.
yeah, it would be fine to call for a resolution.
So if the board agrees, I'd just like to propose that we call for a resolution in the next meeting for the approval of this sign as depicted in the application.
With a recommendation to re-examine the bottom, but not a requirement.
That's fine. I think the only thing that has come to mind in asking that question about other signs of the building, it's that the other tenants will now have a different color scheme. Right?
Is it a different color? Oh, because they kind of have a light tan,
Yeah.
and this one is a darker tan. This is like dark with light
Right.
letters.
And that statement is true, right? For the gentleman from AJ, this sign will look different from color-wise. It will look different from the other signs that are like it.
Yes, color-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have any requirement that they be the
Yeah.
same.
We don't.
Yeah.
This is kind of a nice looking one.
Yeah.
Just too much verbiage.
Can I ask the amount of wording on the sign? Is it because it's not necessarily facing the road? Is it like appealing to people that are possibly walking?
That's how I would recommend it. It's really facing the parking lot only, so no one from the road would, one, probably even be able to read accounting, taxing, marketing. It's really just for people, on foot traffic passing by.
And or people who are coming to this business and knowing what this business is, right? That's-
Yeah, yes.
So Clark brought up two things. We'll double check. It is kind of an unusual sign in that it's not really a facade sign because it's sort of like mounted to the roof. So we just need to check that it doesn't have a requirement to be only 8 feet above grade. So we'll just check that, although it is a replacement of the existing sign. So we'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, how will it be lighted?
Current proposal is non-illuminated, no lighting.
Yeah, I think that was okay. Maybe I was just doing the visual, but it seemed kind of obvious to me. But thanks, Clark, for that catch on the 8 foot off, which I've come to know.
Yeah, we'll just double check that. But
Yeah.
I think it's okay if you want to move. If for some reason we check it and
Mhm.
that is an issue, then we'll bring, then we'll.
I mean, this sign may have been grandfathered in on.
It may have been. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just double check that
Yeah.
because it is a little
Okay.
unusual.
Or it may have gotten a waiver because of all the windows.
It's possible. Yeah, it is a really unusual building.
Yeah, and one last comment for the board. I just noticed on the picture that's in the packet on the existing sign, it has an arrow pointing towards the direction of the door because presumably the sign's mounted over the windows and the door is on the other side of the building. Is there any consideration that we want to have the same arrow on this replacement sign? Or do we feel it's unnecessary?
Oh, I see.
It's a good point. Good catch.
Yeah, as a tenant, we're not looking to put the arrow in.
Well, I got that because it's not on the proposal. I just wanted to know if the board felt like, because the door is on the other side do people have a difficulty finding the door?
I can't answer to why it's there. I don't think it's necessary, but
So I have never been in this office. When you park along the side, you have to walk on the sidewalk out to the front of Knott Street, and the door faces Knott Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm speculating here just from time spent in this Q&A, right? But I think actually where these signs are located and why that old sign has arrows because this building is narrow in the facing of Knott Street, and I think the multiple businesses that are occupying the property, they have varying entrances. So I think this business is the one with an entrance on Knott Street. The rest have them off the parking lot.
Yeah, because my dentist is there. I think that that's my dentist sign on the left.
Yep, yeah.
But
And
it's
that's
over the window and not the door.
right. But it's an entrance, but his entrance is on the parking lot side.
His entrance is on the parking lot side. Yeah.
But the one entrance is not for the one occupant, right? You go in and is it like one of those, or you're going directly into the?
Yeah, the original applicant on the call, I think that entrance on Knott Street is only to your business, right?
That's correct. You're walking into my receptionist.
Yeah, if you go into the dentist door, it's a hallway and there's like 3 different businesses you can go into there.
This one, I think,
But
is
this one
sole
is
for-
its own, it's not connected to those. Yeah.
I mean, we can't tell you to put the arrow there, right? But we can recommend that wayfinding might be an issue for people who have to go around the corner from the parking lot to the front door in Knott Street.
Yep. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So resolution for next meeting, and if we find there's an issue with the height,
We'll let you know.
whether it's violating the variance or not. Does that make sense? And so the folks on the phone, did you capture the point that Laura made about the roof mounted sign? There's a height requirement in our code.
Okay, so we have another 30 days before it's approved to go on the building, potentially.
Well, we're proposing a resolution at the next meeting in 2 weeks. Clark and I will do some research to see if it needs a waiver. Typically, the planning board can act on the waivers in the resolution. We'd let them know if one was required. This, the sign has been there before. It's we're gonna see if it's like grandfathered in, but if we can't find anything on it, like we do like to clean these sites up so that it's clear.
Yeah.
Like with Hannaford, it was only like half approved.
Yeah.
So we'll double check the files and see. But if it does, it actually probably isn't that far off from 8 feet. But if you guys want that, we'll check what the height is and then get that information included as a waiver if it's needed.
Yeah. For the person from AJ, do you know what the dimension of the bottom of that sign is from the floor, from the ground?
Roughly, yeah, we'll have to get an actual measurement.
Okay, so it's probably good if you can do that while Laura, I mean, I think that step you're going to take is a necessary step to be communicated to Laura and Clark.
Yeah, so then we
Okay.
can decide what language needs to be in the resolution.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's 8 feet to the bottom of the sign, right?
Correct.
From what I recall. And
Yeah.
then the sign has its own size requirement that makes it compliant or not. Good. Yeah, sorry, I didn't catch that. I should have caught that.
Yeah, no, Clark caught that one. Yeah.
It's good, Clark. That's good.
Good job,
Clark's
Clark.
just better than me.
I guess just to put on the record, we don't have the best records on file for this building, so we're going to start a little side project to get an up-to-date internal floor plan of the building and confirm the businesses inside, and we'll update all the signage and bring this whole building up to snuff.
Perfect. And of course, our plan right now is to have this, let me call it now, a tentative resolution for the next meeting. And if the planning department, based on what you said, Clark, Laura recommends that the board needs to look a little bit deeper at it, we're obviously going to do that. Does that make sense to the applicant?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I believe that originally was a restaurant.
Oh, really?
I've only known the back as the
It was
dentist's
a
office.
steakhouse, yeah. It was a good one, too.
Okay.
And they didn't make it.
All right, so I will hand back over to Chairman DiArpino.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next up is 1245 Ruffner Road and 1851 Union Street. This is a lot line adjustment. Do we have a representative from the applicant online? Okay. So, Michael Rutherford, owner of the Mohawk Golf Club has, I believe he is the current owner of the property at 1245 Ruffin Road, correct? Okay.
According to this.
According to this, okay. And that was one of the properties that we looked at when there was the proposal for the development that backed into that just under 14-acre area that's adjacent to the golf club. The current proposal here is to take that parcel and then combine it with the 13.84 acres to make it one parcel.
Well, it's to adjust the lot line, right? It's
Adjust the
not-
lot line, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it is a lot line adjustment, which is it's a relatively administrative action in the town.
Mhm.
You can push that lot line out backwards. It only allows for one single family home on the property. So if they wanted to add more homes, they would still be required to come through the same subdivision process that they would be required to now.
And they would need to provide a roadway
Correct.
with frontage on, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Agreed.
No, I was just gonna ask why, I mean, moving a lot line is a simple item, but in this context, it's completely out of, we have all these individual single-family home lots, and then we're gonna make this huge one. So I guess the question is why?
Yeah, and so we need to be clear about this, and I'll go on the record and say, I know I, as a planning board member, am aware of, because it's been made public also, the Mohawk Golf Club, an important part of our community and town, has some intentionality of doing some further development, subdivisioning over on the Balltown roadside.
Correct. Yep.
We all know what happened a few years ago and what the reasoning was as to why that application did not go forward. So I think one thing that's necessary here is a lot more clarity from the applicant as to any steps that are being taken on the property as to why.
Mhm.
I'm just, I think, saying a more detailed version of Mr. Millsbaugh's last comment. So sorry I took an extra 2 minutes to do it. There needs to be a real clear communication to the planning board. There needs to be a real clear communication at best to the town. All we can do is recommend that the applicant communicate with the town, but at least to the planning board. So I, as a planning board member, knowing the history, knowing the current development that at least was discussed, I just have a question mark. I have a question. So lot line adjustments are administrative. This lot line adjustment looks strange.
Yeah, I'll just add on to that if I can. So if it is part of a bigger project, we need to know that so that we're not 6 months from now having a segmented review.
Right.
Here.
I'll contrast it to Matthews Kia. Right. They had a big application that didn't go anywhere with the board. They came back step by step by step, including lot line adjustments. At no point in time did I, as a board member, feel I had any lack of visibility to where the end result was going. And I think we ended up approving that, right? Yeah.
Yes.
All the
Yep,
way
they do need to come back for a final site plan.
Right.
You made your recommendation to the town board. They approved the special use permit.
Right. So I'm not recommending to Mr. Rutherford or Mohawk Golf Club anything beyond the fact that if this lot line adjustment is part of a bigger plan, use Matthew Key as an example. It's almost 1 for 1 because they were kind of happening at the same time. Come back with all the steps in the plan.
Yeah, I'm just going to add to it. I don't know if there's a requirement. I don't think there's a requirement of this, but there aren't any instances I can think of where we don't, as a board, understand the benefit of the change to either or both parties as well as the community. So I don't understand what the benefit of this lot line adjustment would be.
Yeah, I think he meant to have someone here. I think it was meant to be Luigi because Luigi is the one that we normally.
Luigi's not feeling well, so
He wasn't feeling well
I
after
can
he just
understand that. I
signed
can understand that 1,000,000%, right? I think what we're articulating here is a good opportunity, if the board agrees, to have the applicant know these are the kinds of things you're
Yeah,
interested in.
those are all super fair questions. It wasn't included in the application.
I can't recall ever seeing an outline adjustment look like this.
Yeah, it's a real.
It's not a more rectangular
that's all very
lot. It's
normal.
not a, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we put that in the agenda statement. The comp plan likes regular shaped lots. So the balance is what's going on here. I mean, like I had mentioned before, it is only zoned for a single family home, so could only have one home on it, kind of regardless of the shape of the lot.
On how many acres?
On 14 acres, yeah. So, and like Mr. Khan had said, Mr. Rutherford, I mean, I haven't seen an actual plan, but, you know, we've sat down and he's had meetings and he's put the information out, and I do think he's working on a plan to put the units on Balltown Road. I think that is where he's going with what we looked at before.
Yep.
But I mean, having more information on this one, I definitely think is important. Probably the applicant would have explained, but unfortunately they didn't attend tonight. So
Yeah, no. So that is 1,000,000% okay. And I don't mean to be over the top by saying 1,000,000 instead
no,
of
I
100.
think I think it might
That's
have been-
perfectly fine.
he
I think,
didn't
like I
sound
said,
he
it
felt
gives
good.
us a comment, reason, you know, the ability to at least comment on what it is we're looking at. in
But
front
then
of us.
what do we do with that information once we have?
Yeah, and so I think it remains to be seen what the information is. Because I will say that if I were to look at this standalone as a lot line adjustment, I have no answers to, first of all, it looks strange. It looks different from typical lot line adjustments. And therefore, without understanding the reasoning behind it, I couldn't even begin to say, well, it's consistent with our code and our procedures or not.
Yes, we'll ask him for more information and to make sure that an applicant attends at the next meeting. Or a representative, it doesn't have to be.
So Laura, one technical question I
Mm-hmm.
have. I'm not going to continue the previous discussion. It's a new question specific only to this lot line. Is the property boundary in the back on this what the development application previously that came from? Is it the same acreage and boundary?
I mean, I can check the I don't know.
Okay.
It's close.
It's at least worth to ask. I mean, I didn't get a chance. This is the issue with electronic copies, right? I think they might have been archived, so I had to go dig it out to find it. But I think
Well,
that paper road that you can see, right? That narrow passageway was included in the area, right?
This
So this
one.
is definitely a different
That's,
shape.
yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I know that the old plan changed a little, but at one point, yeah, they were coming off of here and going over. So,
Right. Ye-
but I mean, this is generally speaking the forested area that you were looking at
Yeah.
for that subdivision. I don't know if the actual means and bounds description is exactly the same, but this encompasses that forested area
So
behind the market.
could I make a request, and I'll relegate the other members of the board to, you know, disagree with me on the request. Could we see an overlay, even if it's you
On the
and
aerial?
Clark constructing it,
Mhm.
of this lot line adjustment plan and what was in the previous application by Mohawk Golf Club a few years ago?
Oh, okay. I mean, I can overlay it on an aerial. I could also pull up the old one.
Yeah, whichever way. I mean, however you want to do it, least amount of work. You can put them side by side. We can get an understanding of scale that way. Just whichever is the easiest thing to do.
That's fine.
All right, so without the applicant here, it's hard to see what the initial
Yeah.
thought is here, what the intent is, other than possibly just making it one large lot. So I think what we'll do is I was involved on this as a project lead. I'd be happy to co-lead this with somebody if they were interested.
So I think for consistency, I think you're talking about the first application.
Correct.
So I think it was you and me.
Mhm.
So I'm willing to actually team up the same way again.
Okay. Sounds good. And I think in the interim, if Mr. Rutherford or his representative wants to reach out to Mr. Khan and myself and the planning department, we'd be happy to maybe figure out a little bit more information before they come back again for a follow-up meeting.
Yep. And again, on the record, right, the applicant should feel no regrets about the occurrences and events of tonight's meeting. There's a lot more clarity. There's a lot more clarity that's being sought. And there is an understanding that I think the board desires of what's the overall plan looking.
Makes
The
sense.
Mohawk Golf Club is an important part of this town, right? We've articulated before, the town has articulated before, we'd like to have the Mohawk Golf Club continue being an important part of this town. Mr. Rutherford, his business, et cetera.
Okay. All right, moving on to our last discussion item, 6 St. Gerard. This is an application for a preliminary plat plan approval of a major subdivision. Ms. Gold is the project lead.
Yep.
And did you want to give a quick recap of?
This has been around for a while. And I lost my notes, don't blame me. We did have a response back from the town designated engineer. They requested additional information, and then we've had some subsequent effort. The planning department's working with the TDE to review the stormwater design. But we have a recommendation from the Conservation Advisory Council to do a negative deck. And we could, in fact, go ahead and do that. And we could call for the public hearing while the details are being worked out.
Okay. Yeah. So there was a drainage analysis that was done by Mr. Paleshi's office. There's some overlay maps that were on there indicating some of the drainage impacts that are to those areas. They are very minimal. If you look at the color coded charts on there, they kind of demonstrate that as well. So pursuant to what Ms. Gold said, I think at this point, if we wanted to call for the public hearing, we could go ahead and do that at this point. I don't think that there's been any major updates or changes to that plat plan that they did submit. There was some additional landscaping items that were on there, but nothing significant from the original one that we saw.
When do we think the TDE review will be back?
For the stormwater,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would say probably. What do you think, Clark? Like a week? They've
Yeah,
So we have
I know
public
the
hearing?
TDE issued a first comment email, and I believe the applicant's engineer responded to that a little bit, but they're probably a week away or so.
Also, we do still need sewer and water because it is a major subdivision, but
Oh.
those we think are fairly simple because the sewer and the water lines actually bisect the property. And
Yeah, along
Limited
those
options
lines,
on where to place them.
can we get some feedback from engineering or highway on the two stub roads and paper streets? The town code has sections for addressing dead ends with cul-de-sacs and turning around, and these are two, non-compliant dead ends that we're having long driveways off of. And I guess I'd be interested to know, from plowing, for trash pickup, for deliveries, how does that work? And is there any recommendation to extend Girard to the hydrant off of Angelina as a fully built town road? Because as the two, the town code has a discouragement against long driveways, or it's got the requirements, if you have long driveways, to have those specific details in there. I think the sketch plan, or we've already approved the sketch plan, so the preliminary plat, if it can have some dimensions and details on there about the driveways and how they comply with those long driveway standards. But I mean, I'd like to see, I think it would make sense for the road to go all the way through. At this point, with these driveways on the south side, it's probably not practical. But how those dead ends are addressed, I think we want to make sure that if in this process that they're done in a way that the town highway department wants them to be done. If that makes sense.
So the large loop on that property, you're concerned about this driveway down here?
Well, that's already built, that's already there.
Right.
But the new dwelling
coming in
is
here.
coming off of a stub that's an extremely shorter stub. It's pretty much all the way up at Angelina where the actual constructed width of the road ends. The hydrant's all the way down at the property line, essentially, or a little further down off of this gravel, off the gravel drive. It's down here. So, well, no, it's up. It's right there. But there's no constructed road down to it. It's just out in the yard.
Right.
So I just think we should have some feedback from, the highway department on these, I guess, non-compliant dead ends And if there's a recommendation that they have for addressing them.
So the weird part about this one, which you kind of correctly called out, is that this is a paper street owned by the developer. So the town's responsibility actually ends on Antonio Drive here. The town does have over here the end of Antonia Drive, but he's not actually proposing to connect to the existing dead end that the town owns. I think you're completely right. We should make sure that we understand how it's going through this privately owned stub. But yeah, the weird thing about that one is it was never dedicated to the town. It's
Oh, so the driveway is only going to the property line on the edge of the paper street, and then there's a gap essentially between.
well, they're not showing it, but yeah, I mean, they'd have to build the driveway through the lands. It's called Lands Now or formerly of La Rapa, but
So is there no frontage then at all on that
the
lot?
the frontage on the parcel is allowed as Antonia Drive because that's the existing frontage and it's measured, at the setback line. But the driveway itself is going to be built through this paper street that's privately owned.
Yeah, so that's the details of that. I think we just need to figure out.
Yeah,
I
because
think it reflects that it's shaping up to be a family compound, really.
yeah, it is. But yeah, I didn't even think about it until you said it. I mean, it's showing the driveway is stopping at the end of the paper street, but it obviously will have to continue on. I think the reason the hydrant is there is the hydrant's within the easement that the town has.
Well, when you look at the utilities, I think the utilities bisect the property because there was a
Supposed to be a
thought
road.
that Gerard
Yeah.
would go all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why they're there.
The bigger question in my mind then would be, can emergency crews get in as needed?
Yeah, I
think they
think
can.
Yeah, I mean, he does have
Yeah.
to build the driveways to the spec. It's like 16 feet high clearance, 12 feet wide or 10 feet wide. I
Yeah.
mean, it's quite wide. And it has to hold like 75,000 pounds or something. So they have to build, it's basically like building a little mini road.
Right, but similar to the lots on the south that have the loop, presumably because of that review was if you came in there with a fire truck, you had to get it out.
Yeah, possibly that is why it's there. Yeah. Yeah.
Do we
Yeah,
have
is
places in
it,
town?
can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Lou Lisi. We had to build the driveway to meet the fire code when we built it off of St. Gerard to get to the homes. So it was constructed a certain width and a certain depth of crusher run. We did that according to the fire code of New York to be able to get a truck in there. At the end of St. Gerard, the town engineer department plows the snow to the right side of the end of St. Gerard where the pavement stops. So we're going to build the same drive, which is the same tolerances that we built the other drive to get it off of Angelina. And yes, we do own all the way to Angelina. We own that stub street. That paper street. So we'll construct the same drive we constructed on the other side to handle the fire trucks.
So sorry, Lou, I didn't realize you're on. So do you think you could show the driveway continuing down the paper street, the lands of La Rapa, so we can see how it's connected? And then
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
the engineer check and see what the turnaround for that long driveway at your son's proposed house would be required to be?
Sure.
Just to close on that, so the paper street is a separate lot from this lot 4
It is currently a separate lot, yes.
that currently have the same owner.
Yeah.
It's always been a separate lot. It was owned by La Rapa as a separate lot. And we bought that separate lot from the prior owners. So now it's owned by myself, by me.
Right, so since it's a separate
It's always
lot,
been a
just
separate
question
lot.
For Rob, does it need a access easement over it since it's a separate lot?
Who does? No. That new lot would have an easement over that parcel, correct?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, so I don't, did that answer your question? Like,
Well, just that language, that there's going to be an easement for this lot to have access over the Paper Street
Yeah,
lot.
correct. And we would
Yeah.
be able to incorporate that into, we could review anything that exists and then supplement that as needed.
Alternatively, I guess, but I think you and I talked about this before, Lou, and I can't really remember. You could combine the lot into the proposed new lot, or you could do an easement to it, one way or the other.
It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't make a difference which way we do it. It's, whether it's an easement or a fee interest, it's the same rights.
Could we have
I
that
don't, it doesn't
decided-
make it this way. It doesn't bother me which way we do this.
Could we have that decided in time for the meeting on the 26th?
What's that? I couldn't hear you,
Could we
Leslie.
have that decided on a drawing for the 26th meeting?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, that's simple. Yep, I can do that.
Okay. Anybody else have concerns?
And remember just remember that strips for snow removal and snow plowing, that's a 60-foot wide parcel. We're only building probably a 14-foot wide driveway. So we have plenty of space on either side for snow removal.
Okay.
But like in this particular instance, it's actually different than like than Posnelli and
Yes, yes.
because
Yep.
because you're actually responsible for it all the way to the edge of the existing street, whereas on the other ones,
Correct.
we had to coordinate with Ray to kind of add the snow storage areas and stuff like that.
That's correct. Correct.
Would it make sense to put the driveway configuration so that it's not directly over top of the storm sewer? And there will be.
Well, I don't
always
think we can do that because that was built with the sanitary going down the middle of it because it was intended to be dedicated and it never got dedicated. So I can put the driveway to either side, but I'm probably not going to be able to keep it out of the easement. So I think the town's got a 30-foot easement for that sanitary sewer line.
Oh, they do. So it's almost a moot point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, which is
Well-
which is okay. I think probably you'd have to sign the easement agreement that the town would do its best to put it back, but it might have to get dug up at some point and damaged.
So it doesn't,
Yeah, and the town has a filed easement for that sewer line across that parcel.
Okay, so it looks like we can proceed at the next meeting then?
For sketch plan, is that no?
Okay, I'm gonna-
We're doing the call for the public
Call for
hearing and the
public
secret determination. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
And the EAF forms that are in the packet are like the extremely old ones.
Oh, I
the
know.
cheap ones.
Yeah, Lou said he was gonna update
Okay,
those for
yeah,
us.
we can just get those.
Yeah, I'm gonna upload these tomorrow. I came by and paid the application fee, but I forgot to bring the form with
Yeah,
me.
and we'll get the
Sorry.
we'll get the TDE
Comment
report
letter.
by then.
Yeah.
Comment letter by then, right?
so it sounds like if all those things fall into place, then we can have the call for the secret and public
Yep.
hearing.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Lou.
No, thank you.
All right. So that wraps up discussion items and moving on to reports.
I have nothing unless you guys have any questions for me.
That training class that we talked about in Saratoga,
Oh yeah,
you forwarded that on? Have you forwarded that on already?
I think I forwarded it to you guys. I can,
Yeah,
yeah,
Did you see it? Okay.
yeah.
and they wanted the applications in pronto.
I'll resend it.
Well,
And then if anybody wants
next
to go to
year.
the Saratoga training, let me know.
I'm not sure I can make it, so.
You don't push that one as hard because it's the most expensive training that I send you guys.
But it's really good.
But it is very good.
How much is that worth again in hours? Is that
It will get you your whole 4 hours.
What
It's
extra
typic-
does it get?
It's typically 4.5 to 5.5
Oh,
hours.
Okay. Okay, so if nothing else on report, we'll move to commission business. Okay, I have a few items. I want to welcome Andrew to being appointed for a full-time member. So Mr.
Thank you.
Millspaw will be up here fulfilling Ms. Belowski's remainder of her term. Mr. Bill Calhoun was reappointed as an alternate, and Joe Drescher was also appointed as an alternate. If some of you remember, Joe was on the board previously, so he is stepping back from his current position and coming back over to planning. He's feeling a little under the weather tonight, so here, but he'll be part of our group moving forward. And then I was reappointed to a 7-year term and also as chairman. So
Congratulations.
So you got me for a little while.
Thank you.
Very nice.
One of the interesting facts of this planning board that we talked about at our economic committee development meeting was that we took action on 34 resolutions in 2025. And currently, if you look at the ebb and flow of the past few years, we are right around that same watermark of, low 30s to mid 30 resolutions that we've taken action on throughout the year. So interestingly enough, even though it seems like we may have a couple months where things are a little quieter, we also have a lot of months where things are very, very busy. So it has been very steady the past few years, looking back at how many action items have been taken by the board. So
It's good to know.
interesting little fact. A quick update on the comprehensive plan. All of the sections are completed. I believe draft-wise, they are working their way, cross-referencing those through. So I would expect sometime probably late winter, early spring, that we will be getting copies of that to review. We do have a timetable that we have to review and respond to those or get comments back to the Comprehensive Plan Committee. It is required reading, especially for the planning board. It's a really important document. It's an understatement for me to say that, but anything that you could do to set aside time when we do have that will be very beneficial. If you have an interest, particularly in any of the sections, it's formatted very similar to what our current plan is, but there's a lot more information in there. There are a lot more visuals and charts and I guess data that they've collected to help bolster that plan. So be on the lookout. That will be coming for that. And I believe we hold a public hearing for that.
Want to hold the public hearing at the planning board. It typically reaches a different audience. So I think it's important to have one at the planning board and at the town board.
Yeah. And I think, David, from previous discussions, I just want to reinforce it, right? The new version of the comprehensive plan, I'll just say it in blunt terms, right? I think it'll be more suitable as a tool for the planning board, right? I think that was one of the things that we had talked about because maybe listen to a little bit less on the required interpretation side and more clarity on, look, this is what the town intends.
We're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, certainly if you read it and you think that definitely needs to be clarified, then let us know, because I don't think, Leslie sits next to me on the comp plan. I don't think that we're necessarily like married to the way the sentences read, just the ideas. So if we want to make sure that that it's an implementable, easy to understand where you're going type of thing.
Yeah, and for me, the key point on that is ultimately, we should have some clarity verbally about what intents are, right? But, this is what our intention is.
But it is sort of a living document, and it needs to have some room for adapting to current circumstances.
Yep.
And that's why we hedge sometimes.
Yep. It's not an easy task, and thank you to the team for that.
All right. Okay, so if there's no other commission business, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Gold.
Second.
Second by Mr. Khan. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting was adjourned at 9:34 p.m. Thank you, everyone.